Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Chris Deluzio from Pennsylvania. Joins us from Pittsburgh. Congressman, thanks for being here. Strong opposition from Democrats and some Republicans to the administration's efforts to undo that guarantee I was just talking to the senator about birthright citizenship. Voters seem to agree. According to the most recent New York Times poll, they said that it's a clear and decisive majority in support of the status quo. But where voters seem to differ from many in your party is on the question of mass deportations. That same poll showed strong support for removing all illegal immigrants who came here illegally in the past 4 years, and even majority support for deporting all illegal immigrants. Where are you on the mass deportation question, and how do Democrats navigate these waters?
Look, I think most people in my district and across the country think you're here without authorization, you've come illegally, you're committing crimes, you got to get sent back to where you came. I also think, again, Democrats and Republicans who believe in public safety, believe in border security, they want folks who are, say, brought here as children, like dreamers, who are going to work hard, play by the rules. They got to pay their taxes. They got to do all the things they can to become good neighbors of us here, but they should have a path to have an earned status in this country. And we can do both of those things. We can have strong and meaningful border security. We can have a better immigration system, and we can have a path for folks who play by the rules, who follow our laws to earn status in this country. We can do all those things, and by the way, we have legislation to do that Democrats, Republicans support, that I support. Let's get those bills passed, sent to the president.
Okay, one of the reasons that the former president waited so long to take action on the southern border was that there was opposition in your party. What do you say to some of your fellow Democrats who want to pull back here? And as you say, there was a consensus. There was a bill that got through that had Republican and Democratic support, and now some Democrats seem to be backing away and are talking about a humanitarian problem. Again, what do you say to them?
Look, I think we have the framework to have a deal that's going to better secure our border, that's going to streamline and fix our visa system and other parts of the immigration system, and frankly, that can answer the problem of people like dreamers who were brought here as children who want to become Americans, who want to work hard. I also think Democrats and President Trump should pay attention to the criminal employers who are willing to exploit these folks who come to this country looking for the American dream and undercut American workers, American wages. I haven't heard anything about raids on those employers. I haven't heard anything about targeting those criminals. And these are people, again, who are willing to undercut American workers and exploit vulnerable folks looking to achieve the American dream. Let's talk about enforcement against those guys, too.
Okay, Republicans have the narrowest House majority in history, and pretty soon they're going to be asking for a hand in passing legislation. Up first is a potential bundle that would trade California wildfire relief for lifting the debt ceiling and funding the federal government through October. Is that something you'd be amenable to?
Well, let's start with, I haven't even seen a proposal from the Republicans. And every time my Republican counterparts, I've been in the minority my entire time in the House, my first term and now this one. Every time they've needed to do the basics to fund the government, to deal with the debt ceiling, they've needed votes from Democrats like me. We are willing to negotiate in good faith because I believe in governing. I don't negotiate without seeing what they're asking for, and they've got to come with a real proposal. And by the way, lots of people in lots of parts of our country deal with horrible disasters, and when these are big, large-scale natural disasters, our federal government steps in to help. We shouldn't be walking away from that. We should expect that communities take actions to keep them safer and prevent these in the future the best they can. But we've got to be able as a country, whether it's storms in Florida, North Carolina, Louisiana, wildfires in California, you name it, when Americans are in need, our country steps up. And we also don't leave people hanging of shutting down our government. That'll hurt veterans, law enforcement, food inspectors, you name it. These are just silly risks that we should be able to govern through together and keep our government funded for folks.
Well, one of those issues was 2 years ago. We're coming up on the second anniversary of the train derailment in East Palestine, which is just abuts your border, abuts your district right over there in Ohio. Yeah. How's the relief effort and the remedy effort 2 years in?
Well, I will tell you, Congress has done nothing, and it infuriates me that we still don't have rail safety legislation passed. You know, one of my Senate co-leads was now the vice president, J.D. Vance. And I've seen and heard in my Transportation Infrastructure Committee work some Republicans willing to work with us. And I remind them, President Trump and Vice President Vance support rail safety. President Biden supported rail safety. Let's get this done. We should, frankly, tell the railroads it's long, long overdue. They can no longer treat people like my community and our neighbors in Ohio like collateral damage in the way of their profits.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.